So whenever I begin work on a new video, the first things I usually do in this order is A. Create the thumbnail, and then B. Write an outline of the topic for that video. Well, I have to say, for the first time ever, I am literally at a loss for words on the subject of today's video, because it's such a ridiculous premise that I really don't even know where to begin. So with that said, let's just start at the beginning. We talk about a strange request from the U.S. Department of Justice next on Maximus. Greetings everybody, Maximus here with a rather strange update to the ongoing Mark Forkner saga. So I assume if you clicked on the thumbnail, you already have some knowledge of who former Boeing chief test pilot Mark Forkner is. Oh, and did you notice the new picture, by the way? Forkner is sporting some silver hair. For the longest time, we only had the one LinkedIn picture of him. But now that he came out of hiding and had to show up in court, we've been able to get some new pictures of the elusive Forkner. But over the years, I've covered the saga of Mark Forkner quite extensively on the channel. I'll post some links to the stories in the description. But just to nutshell it, for some of you that may not know, Mark Forkner is the only one at the entire Boeing organization who is being prosecuted for crimes related to Boeing's disastrous MAX program. Why? Well, first of all, because Boeing signed a sweetheart deal with the United States Department of Justice where they only had to pay a small $200 million fine in exchange for 0 of their upper-level management and executives being prosecuted for any crimes as a result of the MAX disasters. Instead, the entire weight of the United States Department of Justice has come down on Patsy Mark Forkner for some juvenile texts and childish emails where he claims to have Jedi mind-tricked world regulators into signing off on not requiring simulator training for the new MAX in order to keep production costs down. So in this past October of 2021, the Department of Justice in the Northern District of Texas indicted Mark Forkner with deceiving the FAA and scheming to defraud Boeing's customers for tens of millions of dollars. The indictment states that Forkner allegedly abused his position of trust by intentionally withholding critical information about MCAS during the FAA evaluation and certification of the 737 MAX from Boeing's U.S.-based airline customers. But after the indictment, Forkner's defense team stated that their strategy will be that Forkner was a scapegoat served up by Boeing and the Department of Justice to divert attention away from the fact that those executives and managers really responsible got off with just a slap on the wrist and Forkner is being unjustly prosecuted in their place. And I, for one, personally agree with them. Forkner is indeed the scapegoat here. When the story first broke, I assigned more nefarious intentions to Forkner. But as the picture unfolded, I came to understand that Mark Forkner was indeed being hung out to dry as a sacrificial lamb to appease those who rightly deserve justice for what Boeing did to them and their families. How about you? Do you still think Forkner is the evil mastermind, or is he a scapegoat? Let me know down below. Okay, so now that we're caught up, that brings us to the topic of today. The U.S. Department of Justice is urging a federal judge to prohibit Boeing's former 737 MAX technical pilot from presenting evidence, suggesting that he is being made a scapegoat for the two crashes. Forkner is on trial in U.S. federal court over allegations that he misled the Federal Aviation Administration and two Boeing customers about the 737 MAX's Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System, or MCAS. On December 13th, Forkner's attorneys presented evidence that in October, an FAA official told the U.S. government that Forkner was being made a scapegoat for two 737 MAX crashes and should not be charged. That FAA staffer and two others later created a PowerPoint presentation outlining their belief that the DOJ was pursuing a false narrative. Forkner's team also said the FAA refused to allow his defense team to interview any FAA officials involved. But the DOJ is pushing back, asking Judge Reed O'Connor to block Forkner's attorneys from soliciting testimony or presenting any evidence that suggests Forkner is a scapegoat. In a December 17, 2021 filing, the DOJ argues it has not indicted Forkner on charges related to the two MAX accidents, Rather, the U.S. government says its case only alleges that Forkner deceived the FAA's Aircraft Evaluation Group about the operation of MCAS, and only for the purposes related to pilot training. The DOJ says the indictment centers on Forkner's deceit of the FAA AEG about MCAS for the purposes of pilot training evaluation for U.S.-based airlines flying the 737 MAX. The indictment does not allege that the defendant caused either crash, nor will the United States argue or even suggest as much at trial. Forkner's trial is scheduled to start on February 7, 2022. So I would like to believe, especially in a country where your right to a fair trial is guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution, that the judge would find this demand as ridiculous as I do. But here in the future in 2022, crazy things are happening, so I really have no idea how the judge will rule. But I really don't care if Forkner wanted to claim that a circus monkey crawled out of his butt and told him to do it. You're free to claim whatever defense you want, and it's up to a jury to believe you or not. But it's not important what I think. As always, I want to know what you think. So let me know down below. Well, that's all I have for now. As always, on your way out, please be sure to like, subscribe, share, and ring the bell. And remember, leave the rubber on the runway and your troubles on the ground. And I will see you next time in the air. Yeah, this is Maximus.